What's up guys, YST here and welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today we're on the test server to showcase 8 new shiny new legendary champions coming out in this upcoming patch. So if you're excited, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button because we are going to be doing a showcase on every single champion that I'm about to talk about. This is actually one of my first times proper reading through the kits myself, so get some popcorn and hopefully these champions can be some game changers. But before we get into this video, I just want to say I know I've been away for around 2 weeks or so. Just been focusing on myself. I was getting a bit burnt out from everything that was going on. But we're back in action and more videos to come out in the future. So I actually haven't spoken about the new fusion as well, so let's just go over him first and talk about my kind of thoughts on him, right? But firstly, look at his aesthetics. Like, this dude looks insane and I don't know what's going on down here. Is that his brother or his master? Who knows? But Night Revenant champion, Walking Tomb Dreng. Now, when I first seen this champion from everyone else talking about it, I was like, do I really need another AoE HP burn champion? Turns out that I kind of do after playtesting him, which you'll see straight after this video goes live. But he attacks one enemy 2 times and instantly activates any HP burn debuffs on the target after attacking. Now, when I first read this, I thought that it needed accuracy. But from playtesting, it doesn't seem that it does. Now, I'm going to have to playtest it a little bit more, but it doesn't seem to need any accuracy, very similar to his A2. So being able to use this in the Hydra boss, even some progression in the Demon Lord clan boss, and just anywhere in general like the Doom Tower, the Arena, the Faction Wars. This is a really strong ability when you think about champions like Ninja, who likes to do it on his abilities too. We've also got Exalted Pyre, which can attack all enemies, has a 100% chance once booked of placing a HP burn debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, and this debuff cannot be resisted. So with a champion that says a skill like this, it doesn't matter if they got 5 billion resistance, you're going to be able to place this HP burn as long as you don't get weak hits. That's kind of one misconception I see some players having, but if you do get a weak hit, that's the time that you won't place the burn. But 95% of the time, you'll be able to place this out. The only issue that I had with it personally was, when I was taking it into Spider 25, I was getting a few resisted on the spiderlings, and you don't really want to be having that, right, if you're trying to do it consistently. Then on Death Balance, it can equalize the HP of all allies, then attacks one enemy. The HP levels of all allies will be brought up to the level of the ally with the highest HP. We have already seen abilities like this before with people like Sinesha, the epic champion, so to have another one like this in the game really is strong, especially when you consider you want to take him into places like the Hydra boss. Being able to bring up the HP, place those burns, starts to become really useful here. Then the attack will ignore 30% of the target's defense if the target's HP is current, equal or lower than this champion's current HP. I really like that it says lower because he is a HP based champion, and sometimes they do get it wrong with the text. Sometimes it's like if the champion has higher HP and you're like, how the heck am I going to get higher, right? Because his HP is built to be high. So I really like that it's got a this in the kit, and will decrease the cooldown of the Exalted Pyre, which is the A2, by 1 turn if this target's current HP is higher than the champion's current HP. So being able to cycle through this kind of makes it a 2-turn cooldown in some scenarios, right? So that's really nice. And I've seen that some people was scared that it would remain on a 4-turn, but good news, it remains on a 3 once you book it up. Then on Fortress, reflects 30% of the damage this champion receives back to the attacker if this champion has 50% HP or more. This is not going to scale like an Underpriest Brogni, if that's what you was thinking, but it can have a bit of use, I guess. Like, getting a bit more extra damage out, can't really complain. And deals 30% more damage instead if this champion has less than 50% HP. Aura here, we've got HP in all battles by 30%, which is just pretty nice, right? I'm happy to see that. Overall, is he a fusion I think you should go for? I'm still going to go for it, even though I said I wasn't going to. And the reason being is that A1, guys, along with the equalizing HP and the burns, and he's a fragment champion. I think if he was a traditional fusion, I would pass on it. But if you've got the resources and the shards, I think he's one you might want to go for, personally. So let's just move on to the next champion. So we have now got Keeyra the Watcher, who is kind of like a Demiffer V2. And guys, you're not going to be let down from this kit whatsoever. So Falling Star Crush can attack one enemy and has a 50% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. Being able to place drop attack on the A1, especially in the Demon Lord, very strong ability, and you can book it up to a 60%. On the A2, a Smashing Spree can attack all enemies and has a 100% chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. Very similar to like the first part of a Godseeker Aneri without the extension, and has a 100% chance of placing a 50% decreased accuracy debuff for 2 turns. As we all know, decreased accuracy is very useful when facing the Hydra boss, because it allows you to have less resistance and be able to tank those debuffs, right? Or even if you're just trying to get stolen. Now this is where it starts to become outstanding for me. With Coordinate Defense, can place a 50% ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns, and also places a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Are you crazy? Like, this is one of the best abilities for the Demon Lord, period, in my opinion. Ally protection, possibly, well, it is the strongest damage mitigation in raid, especially in the clan boss, and places a 60% increased defense in the same skill on a 3-turn cooldown. This is a game changer champion. Like, if you was to ever summon this, you will never be disappointed, guys. Believe you me. Like, it's just insane, because how many times are you trying to bring in an ally protection champion and then you need to bring in an increased defense? How about have it in one skill? It's really nice. So also on the passive here, which is very interesting, whenever an ally is attacked while under an ally protection buff, can place a 50% decreased attack debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. Guys, this is insane. It's literally insane. Like, I kind of look at this as a budget Krisk in a sense with the passive, because if we go into Krisk here in the Lizardman, don't laugh at me because I don't have one yet. Congratulations to everybody who did. But on his passive, he can place a decreased defense and a decreased attack, right? On the attacker for 1 turn when hit. This is very similar, but it's just the drop attack. But when you consider not being a void champion, it's really strong, right? So I can't wait to use this one, and let me know your thoughts on this champion. This is literally a clan boss killer. You want to bring them into Hydra? No problem. You want to use passives for the decreased attack on all of the heads? Perfect. Ally protection, increased defense. You can't go wrong with a champion like Keeyra the Watcher, in my opinion. Now, third on the list. Who does this remind you of, guys? We have got a Ragash here. They should just change his name to King from Tekken, because that is what he is. If you guys play Tekken, you're going to want this dude. He's kind of like a crossover between the Wolverine as well, who is my favorite Marvel character. Who's your guys' favorite Marvel character? Is it like Iron Man, Hulk? Let me know. But for me, it's always been the Wolverine. So to have my favorite character from Tekken alongside my favorite Marvel character, you'd be crazy if you think I wouldn't be summoning for this dude. So yeah, regardless of his kit, I love his aesthetics here. So on the Tiger's Great Claws, can he attack one enemy 2 times and places a 60% increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns. Now, I didn't mention he actually is a defense-based champion, although he looks like some attack dude. So being able to place an increased defense on himself, being able to manipulate his damage on his next turns, could be a really nice synergy there. Now on the third Typhoon, can attack all enemies and has a 100% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff on each enemy for 2 turns before attacking. So being able to place that drop defense first, attack them, and then also has 75% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn after attacking. This ability here is amazing, guys. Now, it really does come down to the damage multipliers if you want him to be a nuker. But we do have a strong candidate here for a defense-based nuker, guys, right? Even if he doesn't hit as hard and it's a bit underwhelming, being able to place a drop defense, do his hit, and then place a stun after that. I think that's quite a remarkable A2 in my opinion. Yeah, I'm really excited to see the damage capabilities, but stay tuned on the channel. I'll be covering it for you guys. Now, on his A3, we have Felid Fleetness can place a 25% strengthen buff, which is kind of like the second best damage mitigation after ally protection, and also places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. Can also place a perfect veil buff on this champion for 2 turns. On a 4-turn cooldown, guys. Now, potentially if this was on a 3-turn, you could maybe even use him in replacement for a Lydia the Death Siren or something like that, because you've got the increased speed, you've got the strengthen in the same ability, but they just couldn't make it a 3-turn because he has the drop defense, right? He's got an increased defense on himself and he's got the strengthen and increased speed. I wish it was a 3-turn, but it could still have some amazing use in a vast majority of places, right? You could potentially even tune this, but for me personally, I wouldn't bother doing it. Now, on Art of Stealth, at the start of each turn, places a perfect veil buff for 1 turn on the ally with the highest attack. That's not going to be this champion, by the way, so if you've got some nukers in your team, he's going to be able to protect them, right? Then can inflict 20% more damage against targets whose defense is lower than this champion's defense. Now, I don't know where this could be useful, potentially PvP, if you've got some crazy defense on the offense champions. But if he's a defense-based champion, you're trying to stack his damage capabilities, I don't see it happening too often, but when it does, 20% bonus damage for your king. That's what I'm going to call him from now on. Now, let's have a little look at his base defense. So we've got a 1.4k, which is reasonable, I guess. 18,000 HP. We got the normal stats here and a 10 on the accuracy. 102 base speed. That's not too bad, I guess. 105 would have been a bit better, but let's see how it goes anyway. I'll be trying them out for you guys. You know how it is. Alright, so next up here, we have got Nekmo Thaar. He was kind of like a reskin of Roxham. He looks pretty sweet. I don't know what's going on here. I wanted to look earlier. What is that? It's not wings, it's like tentacles. Something out of Star Wars. Anyway, let's have a look at your kit, Mr. Fella. So attacks all enemies, has a 40% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. And you cannot increase the chance of this, it's just damage. And the chance increases to 75% chance if the targets are under debuffs. So that's pretty solid, I guess, if they're under a debuff. But if they've got a block debuffs, it's a bit annoying. I think I'm just complaining a bit too much here, but it seems pretty reasonable for an A1 ability. And then attacks all enemies and has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed and leech debuff for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. That is strong for a 3-turn cooldown, guys. That is really nice, because if you think about, hypothetically, the Hydra boss, being able to place that leech to keep healing off them, being able to place decreased speed to get more turns out. This is really nice, guys. I like this. Then on the speed weirding, can place a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns, fills their turn meters by 30%, and then grants this champion an extra turn. Wowza. That's really nice, but I don't know what they're doing here with the cooldowns. Just make this a 3-turn. What do you guys think? You think it's alright on a 4-turn? I don't know. But this is a really strong ability. Being able to grant that extra turn kind of makes it a 3-turn cooldown in a sense after he does that extra turn. It's still nice. I like it. And then fills his champion's turn meter by 5% for each time a debuff on an enemy is removed, transferred, or expired. So he's going to be pretty hard to tune if you wanted to use him in the clan boss, for instance. If he keeps boosting his turn meter every single time debuffs are removed or expired. Like if you put like 10 poisons up on the clan boss, that's like 50% turn meter. Like how are you meant to control that, right? Maybe some early game, who knows. But increasing ally speed in all battles by 19%. It's nice. I think for Hydra boss, I kind of see his use a lot more than the Demon Lord. Alright, so let's find the next champion here. And let me know in the comment section, guys, which ones are you a fan of so far, etc. Alright, I'm just trying to find the next ones. I think I scrolled a bit too past them, and here we go. So next up here, we have got a Goffred Brassclad. He looks like a beast. Look at him. But with the meat punishment, he can attack one enemy 2 times, and the first hit has a 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. The second hit has a 50% chance of placing a provoked debuff for 1 turn. Now this is really nice for the Magma Dragon, or even in the Hydra boss trying to get the provoke on that Hydra head. Then on the Concuss, it can attack all enemies and has a 100% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Okay, so this is going to be really nice for wave clearing, controlling the spiderlings. I love that. 100% chance. Let's go. Alright, so on Vow of Dwarfs can place a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. That's great. And then removes any decreased defense and weakened debuffs from all allies. So it's kind of like a cleanse. That's really nice. Wait, what's his base speed? So he's got a 102 as well, very similar to that king. Places a 60% increased defense buff. Okay, we got those up. Then removes any decreased defense and weakened. If he's able to cut in, like let's just say hypothetically, Lydia the Death Siren or something, you're able to take that off and kind of replace it with that increased defense, allowing you to be in a much better position. I'm kind of liking this. We got the stuns, we got the removing of the debuffs we don't want. We got provokes, and on the passive effect, whenever ally is attacked while under a block damage buff placed by this champion, has a 75% chance of placing a stun debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. That's really nice as well. Whenever an ally is attacked while under a block damage buff placed by this champion, he doesn't place block buffs or block damage. What? Wait, am I reading this wrong here? Whenever an ally is attacked while under a block damage buff placed by this champion. How could he place block damage? He hasn't got block damage in his kit. If an ally is about to get killed by a fatal hit, blocks... Okay, there we go. If an ally is about to get killed by a fatal hit, blocks incoming damage and places a block damage buff on them for 2 turns. Okay, that is pretty nice though. It is on a 4-turn cooldown. I can see some... So basically how this is working now, I kind of read the second part. So if someone gets hit by a fatal hit, they get the block damage up. And let's just say the person like a... I don't know. Let's just say a Genzin was the person that did that. He's able to place a 75% chance of a stun on them. And that's kind of how I'm reading it here. Which is a nice little mechanic, I guess. But overall, I'm a fan of this one. I like it. Next up here, we've got the King of the Dead, who is in the Knight's Revenant, made out of stone, stole Siphi's flowers and turned them purple. We have got a Shemnath, and with a Bring to Ruin, can attack one enemy 2 times, and each hit has a 30% chance of placing a 60% drop defense for 2 turns. It's what I like to see, but it is a low chance, but it hits twice. And on the... I can't even say this. Caryatid's Curse. Alright, this is a bit of an essay here. Thank you, Polarium. Can transfer all debuffs from this champion to a target enemy, then attacks that enemy 3 times. Really nice. First hit has an increasing of duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. I like that. Second hit decreases the duration of all buffs on the target by 1 turn. Alright. And also increases the duration of all buffs on this champion by 1 turn after attacking. It's okay, is what I'd say. I think... I don't know, guys. Do you think this is going to hit pretty hard? Because if they want you to increase and durations and all this kind of stuff, they kind of want you to place all of these things. So I'm kind of scared for the damage capabilities on this. If this was AoE, it'd be amazing, I think. But because it's just a single, but they're transferring a debuff from this, I don't know. It's okay, I guess. Humbled and Broken can attack all enemies 2 times. The first hit removes all buffs. The second hit will ignore 20% of the target's defense that have no active buffs. I like this. Guys, we've got another buff stripper in the game, which is a strong candidate here. Because attacking all enemies 2 times, first of all, if you think about, I don't know, Trunders or something like that. Well, Jing 1, we'll speak about that later on, but he did get buffed. But attacks all enemies 2 times. If this hits really hard, it would be nice. The first hit removes all buffs. So if they've got like ally protections, increased defense, and all these things you don't like, takes them off, and then the second hit will ignore 20% of the target's defense if he's managing to strip all of those buffs. Now, the only downside is going to be you will need accuracy for this, right? So being able to reach those damage stats will be a bit of a push. But even if you just use them as like a stripper, followed by someone else with a drop defense, I like it. I feel like I'm reading this a bit weird here. We've got drop defense, we've got the transferring of the buffs. Potentially even Hydra, I guess. Just using it as a buff stripper for like normal or hard. Then increases the champion's accuracy by 10 for each buff on each enemy, and increases this champion's crit damage by 5 for each debuff on the enemy. Can stack up to 100%. He's okay. Probably my least favorite out of the bunch, but let me know if I'm missing something. Now, next up here, we've got Truath. Looks very similar to another champion that's in the game, but we got Dark Elves, HP based, and let's check you out, buddy. Attacks one enemy and heals this champion by 5% of their max HP, and heals this champion by 10% of their max HP if they have 50% HP or less. Nice little selfish heal there. And then Gaze Upon can attack all enemies, places a perfect veil buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns, and also places a counterattack buff and a 25% strengthen buff on this champion. Oh my god. Larium, if you're listening, we have got 3 counterattack champions in this game. Just put it AoE. Please. For the love of God. Why don't you like counterattack? Oh, we nearly had a strengthen and counterattack champion there. Still really nice though. I like it. We got the strengthen, we got the counterattack on himself, and he's such a selfish champion. I'm not a fan of the jump, but let's see what Animus Infusion is saying. So heals a target ally by 20% of this champion's max HP. Hooray! I like it. Sometimes it's off their HP, and I just don't like those abilities because it doesn't scale in the same kind of caliber, right? And then balances the HP of all allies. And oh wait, okay. The HP levels of all allies will be brought up to the level of the ally with the highest HP. Okay, so they're starting to bring more of these equalizing HP abilities, which I always said is really needed because Sinesha was just kind of standing there, right? Is there anybody else before these champions that had that in their skills? I can't recall any, but let me know in the comment section. But I like this because it's healing a target ally by 20%, equalizing the HP of all allies, and then placing an ally protection on the one that initially got the heal. Could have been a full AoE ally protection, but I'm still okay with this one here. I like it. And then Transmute Pain can decrease the cooldown of this ability by 1 turn for every 10%. Whoa. Whoa. On a 1 turn cooldown. Damn. Okay, that's a really nice synergy there. So if you get getting hit by 10% of this champion's HP, you're able to keep doing that AoE and ally protection. That's a really strong heal champion, so yeah, I'm really looking to try this one now. Let's see how he goes in the future. Alright, so last but not least, I think it is the last one, but I have a little cheeky look towards the end. Is going to be... Where's he gone? What? He's disappeared. He's gone back into the Hellfire. You guys are probably screaming at me right now. He's there. There he is. So we have got Hephraak. We've got Mr. Hell Hades himself. So he's an attack-based champion from the Demon Spawn, and he looks insane. Look at him, straight from the depths of hell. Now, Hephraak's Grin can attack one enemy, places an extra hit if this attack is critical, with a 4 times damage increase up to 20% with you booking him. Don't waste your books until you see my video, guys, alright? It'll be coming out sometime throughout this week. Who knows when? And then Hephraak's Scorn can attack all enemies and places an extra hit on targets with less than 50% HP after the first hit. Each hit will ignore 15% of the target's defense. On a 3-turn cooldown with a 20% damage increase. Okay. It's reading like a Trunder, guys. In my opinion. He attacks all enemies, places an extra hit on targets with less than 50% HP after the first hit, and also ignores defense. Now, I do not have a Trunder, but the amount of times I've been smacked, I've got a little idea of what she can do, right? So, this one here, right? Places a... What is it? Attacks all enemies. Places an extra hit on enemies that's not under a stun debuffs. So, it's not the same, But it's just a different mechanic on it. But if it does hit really hard, there's potential there, guys. I think with the ignore defense, if he can smack, like if you think about Arbiter, sleep, drop defense, weaken, hit, drop below 50%, hit again. With the ignoring of defense. I'm really fun to try this one out. Let's see how it goes. I might be overhyping it. Who knows? But Megalomania, yeah. Places a 50% increased attack buff. Oh, whoa. Is Gembo the Dishonored on steroids? Places a 50% increased attack and increased crit rate buff on this champion for 3 turns. Grants an extra turn. Holy crap. Guys, I'd put any money at it right now. You can diss me in the comments later on if he's trash. But I think we've got an S tier nuker on our hands. You only have to build him with 70% crit rate. Increase attack buff by 50%. Leads into this and the chance to ignore defense and do the extra hit if they're under 50%. What does the passive say? The Prince of Pride, whenever an allies are killed, instantly activates... wait. Whenever an ally is killed whoa! That's insane, man. Guys, this guy is going to be a pain in the arena, I tell you that much. My god. Look, he instantly activates this. Will not put the skill on cooldown. Are they crazy? What? If there are multiple champions, yeah, obviously, because that would just be busted. But can you imagine? Like, let's just say Rotos comes through and kills your Death Knight or something like that. He's going to instantly activate Prince of Pride and do that A2, which I feel is going to be really strong. This is an overall great attack champion, in my opinion. What's his base stat saying? 1.5. Which is pretty nice, I guess. I can't think off the top of my head. I haven't played Raid in like 2 weeks, so can't really remember what's classed as a great attack, but 1.5 seems to be the Tomb Angel. Who's a nuker here? Retractor. Alright, so staying kind of in the realm with them. So wait, what's Trunda saying? So she's at 1.6, so it's a bit lower than a Trunda, but considering you got those buffs as well, I think that's pretty solid, guys. So that is going to be all for the video, guys. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section below which one you are most excited to try and get. Are you going for the fusion? And yeah, I actually think they're a pretty good bunch of champions in my opinion. But the only downside is if people are trying to chase those Duchess or Kaimos, etc., you have now got 8 new legendary champions in the mix for you to have a bit of a lower chance to get those champs. So potentially try and save your shards for guaranteed events, because they do seem to spring up more often nowadays. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one, and peace.